Hey everyone, I just watched the first episode of Netflix's Cowboy Bebop live-action adaptation, and a lot of people have quite some takes on this show. So I just wanted to give you my first impressions, having only watched the first episode so far. I do know a little bit of what goes down in the other episodes, and I know that Ed was revealed, and not a good decision with that. So when I first heard that Cowboy Bebop was getting a live-action adaptation, I expected it to be kind of more like a generic space adventure. I wasn't expecting them to take too much from the original series, but I am a little bit surprised to see how much they were taking from the original series. It's a little bit more accurate than I thought it was going to be, but it's not accurate enough to make people happy because the things that they did change are not changed for the better, they're changed for the worse. And you know, like I said, with a lot of adaptations, I don't care if you change things, I just want things to be changed to be better, not worse, and that's kind of the problem here. So the opening scene for the show is actually the same scene from the Cowboy Bebop movie, only worse. And I can understand why they would want to take that scene and make it the opening scene, but instead of taking place in a stop and shop on another planet, they decided to make that scene take place in a casino on a space shuttle. I don't know why. I guess they thought it would be cooler if they did it that way. We want to make sure that the audience knows immediately that this takes place with interplanetary travel, but it definitely made less sense to do that same exact scene now in a casino in space. Because the opening scene is that Spike has his headphones on and he pretends to not be able to hear the guy robbing the store clerk. You know, he pretends to just be like keeping his head down, moving around shopping, and the guy's like, this guy can't hear me, I better go up to him with my gun to make sure that he knows that we're robbing the place. Takes one of those party poppers, pops it in front of him, catches him by surprise, and then kicks the shit out of him. In this version, however, he comes from the elevator with his headphones on. The headphones basically don't matter because he is staring directly at them rather than trying to act aloof like he doesn't know what's going on. And instead of kicking the shit out of the guy who has the gun pointed at him, he throws the coin in the air and kicks the coin into his face. And I will admit, it is funny, but why is the animated version of the show more grounded in reality than the live-action version? I would understand it if you were adapting a show that fit that type of expectation to be goofy, but it didn't fit here. Comes down from the ceiling! Like I said, this is something that made a lot more sense in the original version of the scene, where it comes down from the air vent of the convenience store. In this version, he crashes through the ceiling like it's made out of fucking styrofoam, and it's so weird, it's so bizarre. And then they had the old woman scene, but they just made the old woman scene worse because now there's two guys instead of one guy, and the guy who takes the old woman hostage didn't get them by surprise or anything. There's no reason why he was able to get the whole old woman hostage before he was coming out of the bathroom and he caught him by surprise because they didn't expect there to be another guy. The scene with the old woman in the original was very good because it very much captured the type of character that Spike was. He saves her life, but he does it in a crude way where like he tricks the gunman to let her go and instead aim his gun at Spike by convincing him that the old woman is like useless as a hostage. He doesn't care if she dies. But instead, they just blow a hole in the ship and you know, the sucking them out into space saves the day. Like I said, why is the animated version more grounded in reality than the live action version? It's just, it's weird. Now, I don't want to go over every single individual change that they made, because I don't really consider this a review. It's more like a rant. But the reason why I felt the need to go into detail of why that opening scene was worse is because that's kind of how a lot of the first episode goes, where they take a lot of scenes from the original show and then they just make them worse, or they just make it so that they don't work as well as they did in the original. And that scene is just such a good example of it. But the scene that they're taking from was the scene from the Cowboy Bebop movie. The rest of the episode tries to follow actually the plot of the first episode of the original Cowboy Bebop show, which has the two romantic characters doing some drug deals with the red-eye drug so that they have enough money to run away to Mars together. Now, if you watch the original show, you know that this story doesn't have a very happy ending for them. And they did change the ending, but they didn't change the ending so that it has a happy ending, which I actually would have kind of liked to see, you know, if they... I don't know. Some people might disagree with me there, but I would have liked to see an alternative ending where they actually give themselves up. But the original ended with a murder-suicide. For those of you who don't remember, her boyfriend, super high on fucking red-eye, thinking that he can make it to Mars if he just like willpowers through it. He's high, so he feels invincible, but she's not. And she does not feel invincible, and she knows that they're going to die. So she shoots him and ends up getting exploded anyway. Yeah, sad ending. But in this version, Faye actually shoots her boyfriend, and he's already dead by the time that she's like trying to run away to Mars, and she's the one who accelerates the ship forward and gets shot by all the other space cruisers. So it's different. And it's not different in a better way. Lest I forget to mention, yeah, Faye is introduced in the first episode instead of the third. Was she introduced in? I know that it wasn't the fucking first episode, that's for sure. Faye is completely different in this show. And I would argue that she was the worst part of the first episode.
Those are some real pretty words there, cowboy. Does that shit work on all the girls? Can I help you?
No.
Yeah, you can kindly fuck off. It's nothing personal, but your mark's coming with me. Look,
no. Her personality is now just loud and obnoxious. That's what they're going with Faye. They're like, you know what? Sexy and Black Widow like is not good. We gotta make her loud and obnoxious and childish. Really childish. She actually reminds me a lot of like a middle school bully, where like they try to act quirky and cool while being like really mean to the people around them. It's really confusing what they were going for with this change with Faye, because, you know, they start her off like she's kind of an enemy. You know, Spike captures her and like keeps her prisoner in their ship for a while. She escapes, like I said, shoots the guy. That was a gun sound effect? Then she just, like, is cool with Spike and Jet. Like, she doesn't try to get revenge on them or anything. They don't have any scene that makes them buddy-buddy in this first episode, but for some reason she just gives Jet back his gun? You were their prisoner. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, they definitely did Faye dirty in this show. And that was the most jarring part for me. It does feel like they're trying to be a little bit more quirky with the shots in this show. At first I thought, oh, that's kind of neat that they're trying to do similar shots to what the anime did. But sometimes it just made no sense. Sometimes the camera is just tilted for no fucking reason. Other than, I guess, the director thought it would look cooler if the camera was tilted. There's so many shots like that, too. There's so many tilted camera shots. It's like a fucking Michael Bay movie, where there's no reason for the shot to be like that. He just thought it would look cool. But if I am being honest, I didn't mind, like, the first maybe half hour of the first episode. As soon as Faye was introduced, shit started, you know, going downhill from there. But even if, like, all of Cowboy Bebop was like the first half of the first episode, it still probably wouldn't be very good. I mean, overall impressions, first episode, it wasn't that good. It was a worse version of the first episode of the anime and a much longer version. And it gave me that feeling of, why am I watching this instead of the anime? And there's really no reason. All that being said, is it as bad as people are saying it is? Probably not. I didn't think it was, insultingly bad. Granted, I've heard people say that it gets worse as you keep watching, so I don't know. I only watched the first episode. It's certainly not like a Death Note adaptation. I'll say that much for sure. The goofiness is something that I'm kind of also expecting now for the One Piece live action adaptation when that comes out. I'm kind of now expecting it to be on the same level as Cowboy Bebop, but probably worse because more special effects. And a lot of people, had some problems with some of the special effects. I didn't think it was that bad. It does feel very fan film-like, but I don't know, man. It could have been worse. Maybe they should have just made it a movie. Maybe they should have just made a live action adaptation of the Cowboy Bebop movie and then called it a day. But yeah, to this day, there is no better live action adaptation than Alita. And I'm starting to think it'll never happen again where we get another good live action anime adaptation. It's just only Alita from now on is the only good one. Some of you will probably request that I watch the rest of the series and do episode by episode reviews. I feel like you would have to pay me hourly, honestly. It doesn't feel like it's super worth my time. But let me know what you think if you watch the show yourself, if you have any different opinions on it or your own hot takes you would like to throw out there. Like the video if you did enjoy my little rant. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!